To all of you, we have arrived at session 12. All right, final session of this 3-day Pathfinder Conference event. This has been an outstanding program. I've had so much fun, and we've got nothing but positive feedback. We've had world-class presentations all throughout, and surely people from our member colleges, you guys, surely you found something, all right? At the very least, one thing that you can take back with you to help you cope with this year's challenges, to help you improve the overall stability, all right, of your institution. Now, as members of NCCET, all right, this session is for you. I want to be able to give you a summary of some of the changes and innovations that we've introduced on your behalf this year and give you some idea of what to look forward to. Now, again, we've sent out notifications here and there, but this is just the perfect opportunity to lay all of this out and then to take some questions as well. Let me start sharing my screen. This is a great opportunity to introduce one of the most important new additions that we've made in NCCET this year, and that's the fact that we now have regions, okay, and regional directors. And I've asked the first 5 of our regional directors to join me here to help me share this information with you, okay? So again, they're gonna help me make sure that you have a clear understanding of some of the things that we'll be doing and that we have introduced this year. There we go. All right. We're going to talk about these 6 items for the most part. There are new membership categories. We've got committees that we've introduced across the throughout this year. There are new regions, new member events, and then there will be a special announcement at the end of this session, which I've saved for now. Then we'll take any questions that you guys might have, okay? Is that fair? All right. We're going to begin with an introduction of Jamie Rowan, our regional director in the Southeast region, it's region 2, including my own home state of Florida. She's going to share a review of how her region is divided up into areas and then share with you some of the new member programs here at NCCET. Jamie?
Well, good afternoon. As Ed indicated, I'm Jamie Rowan with Polk State College. My role at Polk State College is industrial maintenance, machining. I also work with the Metallica Scholars Grant as well as some Rapid Cares grants at this time. So have a lot of exciting things going on. It's been an exciting year with a lot of changes, but a lot of opportunities. One of the opportunities that I've had recently is to take on a role as the regional director for Region 2. I will be covering my home state of Florida as a current resident, 5th generation Floridian. I'm excited about working here as well as the Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee area. I want to take this opportunity to thank each one of you that are here right now. As institutional members, we already know that you are committed to continuing education. But what unites our members to a greater degree than whether or not they pay their dues is your investment in non-credit programs in the areas of continuing education and workforce development for adult learners. Every community college, technical school, 2-year and 4-year school with such an investment, by definition, should be a member of NCCET. So as of this year, if you haven't renewed your dues or simply haven't signed on to pay your dues as a member of the association, then you will become an associate member. We hope that students and employees will find their way to us over time, and there are numerous programs and benefits that they will be able to enjoy at this entry-level membership stage. They will continue to be programs like this, however, which are only available to institutional members like you. What you are looking at right now is a page from our website, which leads to the product page so that you can update your membership at any time. On this particular slide, we are talking about some new programs that we have developed. We have organizations across the country that are actually a consortium of schools, where the community college district is actually made up of several individual schools, which are banded together for purchasing reasons or by local authorities to operate under a single banner. In the past, some of these schools joined NCCET, which each school paid the same amount as if they were a separate school, and they would add it all together and send us a whopping check. But as many of them have decided, it was entirely too much money, and we have agreed. So this year, we have implemented a new fee for the multi-school institutions, where $1,250 per year covers all the members within any of the schools in that consortium. There is also an additional designation for elite membership, which applies to both individual schools and multi-school organizations. Now I want to go back and give a little more clarity on the different levels of membership. One of the things as a prior math teacher is, first of all, I had to go through and see what the value was. And by becoming an elite member, you're saving your institution roughly about $1,700 to $1,800 just in the fees for joining our events. But as a newly designated associate member, what we will be able to do is send out all outbound communications and publications. They will be notified of all major events and can fully participate in our Tapestry webinar series, which is really just getting off the ground this year. These are all no-cost items and will hopefully inspire our associate members to seek an upgraded status. Our institutional members pay $500 per year for full access to virtual conferences like this one. Their contacts may join the committees that we will tell you about shortly, as well as the new regional events that we will discuss with you during the Pathfinder session as well. Unlike past circumstances where we found that in too many instances, we had both schools and individuals from the same school paying duplicate membership fees. Now, once the school is paid, all of the individuals from that school are officially members. We are also kicking off elite membership status this year, and we will have a lot of work to do to clarify exactly what the difference will be. If we had face-to-face events, as we have in the past, we could have explained that elite member schools could send so many people to these events that institutional members, but this was not to be. We will still provide updated information as we unveil the new institutional growth membership packages, specifically for NCCET members. We are still working on these institutional growth packages as we identify the various vendors and companies that will agree to offer their services to our schools at reduced prices and preferential circumstances solely as a benefit of membership. We have an idea of who they are, but it remains to be worked out, documenting all of this for distribution to you guys, so that you will have a clear idea of what to expect, why you should join or renew, whether the packages be identified as bronze, silver, gold, or not, and how this will apply to your status as an institutional or elite member is still to be decided. So stay tuned and we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Jamie. You know, we introduced the concept of NCCET committees at the very beginning of the year, all right? And I know I've not said very much about them publicly, but they have been active. They have been busy. And some have been very active. And then some are just getting started. I've asked our Region 3 Regional Director, Kristen Braswell, to join me in giving you a comprehensive overview of what these committees are about and how you can join in. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about her region and her role. So, Kristen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am from the state of North Carolina. I am excited to be here with you this afternoon, and I am the Regional Director for Region 3, which consists of the states of Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, East North Carolina, West North Carolina, and South Carolina. So I'm excited about this new role. It has been preparing us very well and been giving us a lot of great information that I'm going to share some with you this afternoon. I am the Dean of Off-Campus Programs at Evening Weekend College at Pitt Community College. but I have been in the continuing education workforce development arena for the past 19 years, and I'm only like 20. So, you know, I started this career when I was very, very young. Again, I'm excited about this new role. So let me give you some information about the various committees. The NCCET it first introduced committees at the start of the 2020 calendar year, and these committees have already been very active, as Ed previously mentioned. Now they are about to become that much more active, and with the introduction of our new NCCET website at nccet.org, we plan to make it clear who is in these committees and that what they are going to be doing and how they benefit our members. I'm going to take you through a brief overview of these committees here in hopes that you will be inspired to want to join some of them because we do have room available for you. One of the most recent committees is the Communication Committee. That is taking responsibility for the creation of ongoing publications throughout the year. Those of you who have been around for a while might remember the Catalyst, a quarterly publication dealing with scholarly issues related to continuing education and workforce development. In addition, this committee will produce articles for the website for our new newsletter, The Evolution, and will produce and coordinate with activities occurring with us throughout the committee, our regional committees. So therefore, we'll be working very closely, our regional directors will be working very closely with the Communications Committee. Next, we have the Curriculum Committee under the direction of Eric Richardson from one of our sponsoring organizations, Growth Development Associations Incorporated. This committee is responsible for certifying the quality and value of the new training programs that you can adopt to your corporation, clients, and adult learners. We believe that this is going to evolve as one of the most important initiatives of the NCCET because these are programs that you can adopt to generate revenue and to bring new customers to your schools. Currently, there are 3 programs active within the certification process, and we are extremely interested in hearing from anyone that would like to participate in this process with us. The Membership Committee. The Membership Committee has actively endorsed the creation of the associate member status this year, and will be working with the board and with Ed and with our regional organizations to make clear the value of moving up to the next level. This group will also be looking at the fact that we have a wide variety of different types of schools in membership already. We have community colleges, technical colleges, 2-year colleges, and 4-year colleges. And we need to know how best to advise these schools already in NCCET and those considering NCCET so that we can make sure that all parties get what they need and better understand if there's some things that we need to do that we're not doing just yet. Likewise, with the corporate members this year as well, and these companies will be working with you both on the national level and in various regions. They will actively developing Tapestry webinars and meeting with you in the regional forums to come in the face-to-face trade fairs once the quarantine restrictions have been safely lifted. And we all are looking forward to that. The Membership Committee is charged with growing the membership of the organization in tangible ways. Then we have the Revenue Generation Committee. The committee chair is John Tracy from Austin Community College, and this committee was originally conceived to take the lead in changing our tax status. We are a 501c6 organization, and we need to become a 501c3 organization to take full advantage of the vast majority of nonprofit benefits. So one of the first tasks assigned to this committee is to help us make that change. In addition, we're looking to this committee to help us identify sponsors for publications, calendar, our events, and monthly communications and website development. The most important task, however, is one that we really only now beginning to focus on. and that is the pursuit of grants associated with providing training programs for the target populations and audiences that are served by the member schools. Whether these are grants announced by the Department of Labor, the Department of Education, or any of the numerous funding groups that endorse our industry. Our objective is to have a dedicated team that will find our about such opportunities in a time properly respond. So not only do we want to be able to notify our schools when we hope to partner with them to pursue such opportunities, it is important to let our member schools know that NCCET is open to working with them as a central coordinating figure as needed when multiple schools and distribution channels are needed. Another brand new committee is the EPA Oversight Committee under the direction of Joe Cassidy. And every year we will be following the precedent that we will begin last year with our 50th annual conference in Orlando by recognizing outstanding and exemplary programs developed and implemented by community colleges and technical colleges in the areas of continuing education and workforce development. Just as we did last year, we expect to begin accepting EPA nominations in any of the 3 categories. The new curriculum programs developed by the schools to meet the unique needs of the school and or the community. Training programs that have been particularly effective in developing new skills for staff and faculty personnel, and with the COVID-19 mandates to develop new skills to conduct online training programs this year. We are really excited about these nominations this year. And finally, we'll be looking for nominations comparable to what we were looking for here with the Pathfinder, namely programs which were successful in helping to generate new income earnings for the school during times when enrollment might be far lower than what is expected due to the pandemic. You can also expect to see a good bit of crossover activities and cross-committee cooperation because there is a lot of staff development committees run by Mike Nelson from Green River Community College. Just as the EPA committee will be looking for outstanding achievements in staff development, the staff development committee will be seeking to provide additional guidance by identifying the top 10 issues facing our schools that will require new skills and new training for faculty and college personnel. The conference committee is chaired by the NCCET president, Howard Drake of Polk State College, has already been most active committee of all, meeting frequently to work with Ed in the development of the distance learning adoption forum, and now in delivering the Pathfinder, which you've been a part of this week. We look forward to additional members wishing to assist us in helping to deliver the programs that you need and new innovations that make membership in NCCET both valuable and exciting. Finally, the last committee is the Workforce Development Industry Committee, which we expect to come together during this 4th quarter of 2020. Under the direction of Al Michelby of Gulf Coast State College, we'll be hoping to use this committee to elevate the most importance of continuing education and the role of workforce development in colleges, to employers, and to state, local, and national government across the country. Ideally, this committee will work with think tanks in higher education and key cross-industry leaders to better understand the needs of adult learners and to activate a stronger dialogue between the educators and the hiring communities. We expect this committee will play a key role in the evolving National Advisory Committee that our colleague Connor O'Sullivan will tell you more about next.
Okay, Kristen, thank you so much. I got to tell you guys, all of these regional directors have been great sports because I dumped a whole ton of information on them. I've given them the names of people that they've never met, they've never heard about before, and they're great sports. Thank you so much. All right. And once again, rather than listening to me tell you about the regions themselves, I've asked our very first regional director and the director of Region 1, Connor O'Sullivan, to introduce himself, update you about his region, and explain how the regions are laid out. All right, he's also going to introduce an important new program that Kristen just referenced, okay, that really should bring about some important new contributions to our schools. Connor?
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Connor O'Sullivan. I am the Regional Director for Region 1 with NSET. You can see our region here is comprised of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, with Texas broken down into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, West Texas, and Austin-Houston area. Currently at Lone Star College, I serve as the Executive Director of our continuing education department, which has been interesting at Lone Star. We're a community college located in North Houston with about 7 campuses, and we have an office at each of the campuses that reports to me to help with non-credit fast track training, our adult education and literacy grant, which services mostly ESL, GED, and citizenship training, as well as leisure learning for 50 and up and youth in the summer. So to kick into this, we are pretty excited about the establishment of regions to provide a concentrated membership focus all throughout the country. We know we are not the first membership association to do it, but this is the first time it's been implemented here at NSET, and this is our opportunity to take all that is unique and special about our organization and tailor it to the individual demographic needs of our communities everywhere. We've established 11 regions in total, beginning with here in the South Central region, where we had the highest concentration of member schools anywhere, and expanding it out in a counterclockwise sequence to encompass the entire country. I'm honored to have been the first regional director selected to begin establishing our regional infrastructure, followed by Jamie Rowan in Region 2, and then Kristen Raswell up in Region 3 in North Carolina, Monica Johnson in Region 6, and then Frank Nunez out in Northern California's Region 10. We are looking forward to having a regional director in all 11 regions before the end of the year. So why is that important? Our job is to grow the NSET membership, and to do it by making sure that NSET is doing an outstanding job for all concerned. That means making important and valuable contributions to our schools, our students, our communities, and the industry served. That means that we have to be a lot closer to our customer base to make sure that we can be effective, so the regional director is merely a first step in getting closer. Each regional director will appoint area managers as well, who will be responsible for the states and some of the major municipalities in particularly large states. It will be the area managers who will alert new schools to what we are doing in NSET, and they will serve as the host of the newly devised regional forums, which will happen all throughout the year. Frank Nunez from Region 10 will provide you with some of the detailed information about these shortly. Additionally, it will be their job to listen and be responsive to the needs of our members, share best practices in continuing education and workforce development, and identify and promote corporate member relationships, companies and vendors which will participate in the delivery of both local, regional, and national services to our schools. The other new initiative that Ed mentioned earlier and that I am pleased to tell you about is the NSET National Advisory Council. This will be a platform enabling thought leaders and innovators from commercial and industrial North American organizations to develop a direct linkage with collegiate partners in continuing education and training throughout NSET. The benefit to these corporate employers is that they will have a direct line to identify and communicate the future skills that they need to fill crucial jobs and career opportunities in the years to come, and that we need to graduate and produce to fill those jobs. Throughout the National Advisory Council, our schools will more closely work directly with corporate employers and partners to create new sources of revenue, develop timely new staff competencies, and benefit from the availability of new certified curriculum. We see likely linkages between the council and our Workforce Development Industry Committee, and we'll be looking for thought leaders from amongst our schools to join us and help us making these programs productive and successful.
Okay, thank you, Connor. You know, one of the sessions earlier today, in fact, our leadoff session today, Brett Lafferty, in talking about some of the things we really need to be able to do and some of the things that are going to be really important relative to establishing partnerships. All right. He talked about the importance of customization. And if you think about the regions and what the regional directors and even more so the area managers will be doing, they will be customizing the benefits of membership for our schools, okay? Schools in one area will likely need different benefits. They have to be able to deliver different services than schools in a different area in a different region, okay? Our new field organization will be responsive to those needs. So we're literally customizing the benefits of membership, okay? Now, I'd like to introduce you to Frank Nunez. He's the Regional Director of Region 10. And while we've always had some member representation out on the West Coast, and we've, with dedicated regional directors and programs out there, we're hoping to see a much greater degree of representation than ever before. Okay, we're also committed to continuing programs like the one that you've been participating in this week, namely Pathfinder. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, thank you, Ed. And I'm coming at you guys from the state of California, the unofficial fire capital of the world. And weather is getting a lot better. We can see the sun again. So we're happy about that. But I previously served 11 years as the executive director of a private post-secondary vocational school. And I've spent the last 13 years with State Center Community College District, where I served as interim district director of trade and training, leading the Training Institute's continuing education division. We have 5 colleges under us, and we serve the needs of all of our colleges as well as the region. I'm proud to be a part of the leadership team of NCCET during this exciting time of change. As regional director of Central and Northern California and soon Canada, I'm looking forward to revitalizing our West Coast presence and appointing area managers in San Francisco, San Jose, Sacramento, the Central Valley, and Canada to carry out a regional function. What is important to take away from this conference is an understanding that NCCET is fully committed to delivering ongoing conference events throughout the year, now that we understand what can be achieved with a venue like this one. Prior to this year, the primary member benefit was based almost entirely on a single annual event, which provided you with networking, training, sharing of best practices, opportunities for recognition, and excitement surrounding our trade shows. Because of the costs associated with these events, we could only do them once a year and hope we chose a venue properly to get the kind of attendance that would justify the effort involved. With COVID-19, we responded quickly to introduce our first virtual conference in May entitled Distance Learning Adaptation Forum and discovered what we can accomplish with Zoom. With that under our belt, we have delivered Pathfinder. The next virtual conference will be scheduled for February 2021. Here's the key message. You can expect a member conference every 4 months going forward, as long as there is a clear appetite for these programs by the membership. The first trimester will see a February event that I just mentioned. The second trimester will see a conference in the June timeframe, and the third trimester will see an event sometime in October 2021. Once we can safely hold a face-to-face event again, one of these 3 will be live and face-to-face, while the other 2 will continue to be virtual events. We will strive for variety, and we will use the regions to help us determine what our members want. The last thing I want to talk about are the regional forums that we have mentioned a few times during this presentation. Unlike the conference events, which are almost always multi-day face-to-face events that frequently involve airfare and hotel rooms, the regional forums will be one-day events held within the area of your region. In many cases, these will be locations that you can drive to, but distance may still be a factor and require a hotel and flight at minimal cost. This will be up to your respective region because there is nothing to say that these forums cannot be virtual events as well. The typical framework of a regional forum will be a morning session with a guest speaker discussing a topic that is critical to the interests of that area. Then that same afternoon, expect breakout workshops and discussion groups, including local schools and representatives of local vendor organizations. These forums will not include trade shows, but corporate partners and vendors will be invited to network and join in on the discussion groups with current and prospective clients alike. As the regional infrastructure more firmly evolves and develops, there will be a lot more information available about these programs.
Thank you, Frank. Okay. Finally, I intend to make it a practice to save a major announcement for the very end of each conference. And this conference is no different, all right? We actually started this back at the Distance Learning Adaptation Forum, all right? But I'm gonna let our Region 6 Regional Director, Monica Johnston, tell you about her region and then make the announcement. Monica?
Thank you, Ed. My name is Monica Johnston, and I'm Executive Director of Continuing Education for Metropolitan Community College in Kansas City, Missouri. MCC is a multi-campus district serving the entire Kansas City metropolitan area. And in my current role as Executive Director, I oversee our community education, our short-term non-credit workforce training and professional development. And I'm pleased for this opportunity and thank NCCET for the opportunity to serve as the Region 6 Director. My region covers Illinois, including the Metro North and Metro South areas of Chicago, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Missouri, and then the eastern portion of Kansas. And this is an exciting opportunity, and it's been great learning more about the organization as well as the other regions. I'm excited to be able to share the special announcement this time. And some of you may remember the Exemplary Program Awards delivered during the Orlando Conference in 2019 at the end of the year. During roughly the same time last year, we announced that we would be accepting nominations for exemplary programs through a nomination form on our website. And by the end of the year at the conference, we had received almost 30 nominations and awarded 21 schools with EPA awards. We invited the recipients of these awards to join us in Orlando, and during 2 award luncheons, we gave our guest winners the floor to talk about their programs before going off to take photos with NCCET President Howard Drake. Here are a few of those pictures that were taken of the EPA winners for 2019. And this year, we plan to do it again. We will recognize exemplary programs from nominations for programs delivered and proven successful in 2020. This time, the entire event will be dedicated to the EPA program recognition. Whether it is 3 days or 2 days, that will depend on how many programs we award and how we will share their success stories. As of now, the plan is to accept nominations from any of our member organizations, associate members, institutional members, or corporate members. The actual nominations need not be members, but they must be willing to share their stories and details, enabling implementation from within our members. Attendance will once again be free for institutional and elite members. The EPA committee will be providing the details and nomination process in the upcoming weeks.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Monica. Thanks to all of you. I'd like to be able to open it up for questions. Let me stop sharing the presentation. Let me open up the attendees and see if in fact we have any questions. Once again, what I've been doing is working to put these folks in front of you. They are going to be they're the first of their kind, and they're going to be in charge of our field operations. They'll be in charge of representing us to the schools. In fact, for many of our schools, and particularly the newer schools, they will be the face of NCCET. They and the area managers that they're going to be identifying. So again, we are thrilled to have them. I am so appreciative of their willingness to work with us. And at this point, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. We have one, Howard asked, what does one have to do to be considered for one of these positions? And I assume he's referring to the regional director position, but I think it applies to the area manager positions as well. I'm going to give him an answer, and then I'll see if anybody else wants to chime in. You don't have to do anything. You have to be nominated by somebody, all right, as a regional director. And then there is an approval process, all right? That approval process means you have to be endorsed by at least 2 of our NCCET board members, okay? That's, and that has happened for all of our regional directors here. The regional directors, however, will be responsible for identifying their area managers, okay? And since we'll hold the regional directors accountable for establishing working organizations and for the progress in the field and for helping to grow our organization, we want them to be responsible for selecting the people that they're going to work with. These are people that need to be charismatic and outgoing and communicative, people that know other people, people that are willing to visit schools and open conversations to identify what's important to some schools that are not in NCCET, so that we know how to share the benefits of membership to these schools. You guys want to add anything to that?
Well, I would add is someone that, you know, recently added on an area director for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that, you know, an interest is the first step, I would say, becoming an area director position. If you're interested in NCET and what we do and the vision, reach out to one of us if you appeared on that area, on that list, whether if you're in any of those states and it was one of our areas. If your area is not covered, you know, reach out to Ed, or, you know, still connect to one of us to try to find you where you might be able to volunteer. And we just start talking. You know, I think just in the search for area directors, I've learned so much more about the region, about my peers working in higher ed, and about what they're good at. I've made people I'm going to reach out to in the future when I'm thinking about new program development and challenges we're having to bounce ideas off of. So it really is valuable just to establish that. And if you have enthusiasm to grow your region and help your region out, then reach out, and I'm sure at a minimum you're gonna get a value from that.
And I would just like to say that, you know, definitely someone who is passionate about continuing education and workforce development, and you just want to get involved. You've been involved locally and statewide, but now you want to try to venture out and learn and grow at a national level. This is a great way to kind of get your feet wet and introducing that, and then opportunity to meet some great people across, you know, the nation. And then also, if you just for personal goals, if you eventually would love to serve on the board, this is a good way to start working your way up to a actual board seat. So that's something to definitely keep in mind for those who have personal goals that they're trying to or wanting to achieve.
Another question relative to what excites you about NCCET. And I would add that there are those of you that have actually, and in some cases still have membership in other companion organizations or related organizations, and now you're here at NCCET. Is there something in particular that excites you about NCCET? Because that needs to come forward as well. Anybody?
Well, I'll jump in then. So having been a member of, again, continuing institutions and workforce organizations. I now have been a member of NCCET for 5 years. And I am really excited about the direction we're headed in, about the renewed energy. Since Ed has come on, there's just an energy between him and Howard Drake that is just, again, it's something you want to be a part of. We all seem to be really enthusiastic about sharing information. In the time that we have been on as far as the regional board, you know, this is COVID. We have to share virtually. We have to have the communication, and each and every one of us has some best practices out there that are just amazing. And the information that I have gained through the communication through NCCET has just been phenomenal. I spoke with my director for almost an hour yesterday of, again, trying to implement a best practice I had heard from one of the preceding days meetings. And it's just, again, we need that opportunity at this time because there is so much going on.
Thank you, Jamie.
And I think this new structure, this formal system that allows us to collaborate is what is making this unique now. I think that our opportunity to build this up from an area to a region to a national level, and the network of colleagues that we're going to establish as resources really is a unique opportunity, and I'm very excited to be involved in this new architecture of the organization.
You know, in many respects, the things that excite me about NCCET might be some things that you guys haven't even heard about yet and might not even be aware of yet. For example, just the need to create a brand new website, all right? And because the one that we had before was all but non-functional, all right? But we actually now have one that in time, not only will give us a better handle on keeping track of our member organization, but it'll also begin to give us the basis for communications and social networking between schools and between our organizations as well. We're going to put the committees on the website so that you can keep track and see what the committees are doing, and perhaps find ways in which you personally can take a more active role in NCCET. We could actually, we actually have tools that would enable us to sell products from our website. I've been toying with the idea. I keep thinking maybe we don't need it, maybe we do need it. We probably should be selling masks from the website. If I can find a vendor that'll actually put the NCCET logo on the mask, because I think we're going to be wearing masks for quite some time. There's all kind of things we can do. We are limited only by our own creativity. All right, and the more now that we have some additional people that can wake up in the morning thinking about, this is what I want to do, and this is how we can reach that school. That's what we need. Okay, again, from the session this morning, they were telling us, if in fact you want to grow and you want to establish, you know, your school or your organization, you just got to make sure that you don't allow it to become stale. You don't allow it to languish. Find ways to make it new and important. I think that's what we plan to do. Okay, that's what we plan to do. Other thoughts, other questions? Okay, all right. Again, I really want to thank our first 5. Keep in mind, guys, there are 11 new regions. Okay, we've got 11 regions in the country. These are the first 5 regional directors. Okay, beginning next month, we're going to start identifying, you know, the remaining regional directors, so that by the time we conclude this calendar year, I like to think that we'd have all the regional directors in place, and they can actively begin establishing and creating their area manager organizations. Okay, so I'm going to rely heavily on you guys. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for helping me in presenting this information. We actually did get a question just now. What are the first things the regional directors are charged with doing? All right, I'll answer that. Learning NCCET inside out so that you can begin to represent NCCET to the schools in your respective regions and areas that don't know who we are yet. Okay, all right. Guys, that concludes Pathfinder and our final national virtual conference for this calendar year. Okay, who knows? In the years ahead, we may end up having some more Pathfinder events with all new speakers and all new topics. I want to thank the regional directors for joining me. I want to thank all of our speakers and guest panelists for their contributions to this event. I want to thank our sponsors, okay? Our event sponsors, GDA and 180 Skills and PrepLearn for their sponsorship of session 2. I want to thank Zoom for providing a stable platform for the delivery of this event, okay? And there's a special acknowledgement. I want to thank Jeff Roth, Trenton Hightower, and Carrie Root for their contributions to helping make this program successful. And I want to thank all of our attendees from within our member schools. Please go back and tell your colleagues if you didn't attend the session. We're going to give you the opportunity to see what you missed, but you still missed something special, okay? If you have an opinion or questions, or if you'd like to see us continue in this manner with programs like this, my email is ed@nccet, and I'm always eager to hear from you. Take care of yourselves, stay safe. Thank you very much. Goodbye, folks.